It's Tuesday. It's time again, folks, for episode 44.
44!
That's right. You heard it from the best here. All right. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We got a lot of subjects to cover, a lot of movie news, some cool comics coming out tomorrow, TV shows, and some fake news, and some interesting things that come out of E3 as well, which is taking place right now. Well, not literally right now, but, over this course of a few days. We have a couple sad subjects to touch on. So we're going to do a little bit of catch up first, and then we're going to talk about Mr. Adam West and another gentleman from Marvel that we lost very recently as well. He was the president there. His name is Jim Galton. So we'll touch on that in a second. But first, there's a nice picture there. We'll come back to it. Let's go do a little bit of catch up, and let's see what you've been up to this past week. Exile State Comics.
It was a whole week and a fun Sunday morning comics. It was international Sunday morning comics. We had Germany, the UK, and Canada in the chat. It was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
Going global.
That's right. Yeah, just been doing fun stuff like that. Had a good time over on Strictly Comics live auction he had on Sunday. That was nuts. 3 hours of live auction fun.
That's right. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. He had a lot of people there too.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Buying books, and Ramiro there was kind of sniping up everything.
The scooper.
Yeah. The super scooper. Well, I've just been kind of doing the old same old in the collecting world. Went to the shop a couple times, got my new books. I got them. When did I get them? I got them Saturday. So sometimes I don't always get a chance to go on Friday on Fridays, on Wednesdays. So, next best thing is picking them up on the weekend. So I did that. Haven't read them yet, except for one, which we'll talk about later, right? So a couple of shout outs. We got Comically Flawed here. Thanks for joining us as always. Blackpool's here as well. Brian Spaceboy 227. I gave him a shout out on my Doom 143 contest video.
Nice.
And we have Jay Philly Superman is with us as well. So thanks for joining us, guys. Glad you're here. If you have anything you want to say to us, as long as it's nice, go ahead and put it in the chat. Any questions, any thing you want to add to whatever we're talking about, we'll definitely call those out. I know you guys are always really great about giving us good feedback and insight, other perspectives, questions, what have you. So keep that up, guys. So first thing we're going to talk about is Adam West. We lost him on June 9th of this year. Very sad news, very surprising. He had leukemia, as we all know, and it was a relatively quick battle with that form of cancer that he had. Unfortunately, we ended up losing him there, and I was pretty sad about it. I mean, for me, he's arguably one of the best Batmans. It was a very different type of Batman than we're used to, than I grew up with, but it was a Batman that I felt like was really needed for the world, right? And a lot of people called him, and I really like this, they called him the Bright Knight, right? Yeah. Opposite of the Dark Knight. Mm-hmm. It was a Batman that was campy and it was fun, and he did it with like this deadpan seriousness that was like this really cool juxtaposition of the two. It was cool. It was really great. And I mean, it's lasted through all these decades, all this time. It's still something that people quote and celebrate and love to watch pretty regularly. I'm sure a lot of people watched, especially the Batman 66 movie over the past few days, right? And then, of course, he was Mayor Adam West on Family Guy. And I think a lot of people maybe know him as that. But even as just that, it was still a hilarious character, and really a great contribution to the Seth MacFarlane show there. So, feel free to.
Yeah, no, I felt the same way. I was shocked. What was that? That news hit, was it Saturday morning or something like that?
Yeah.
Something like that when it was officially announced or whatever. And I mean, that's just a major loss for. I mean, everybody, but especially like comic book fans, like that realistic for most of us, that's our first Batman. Mm-hmm. We all saw him before Keaton and everything like that. And we all saw reruns of, grew up on reruns of Batman. where,
Exactly.
like you said, he was a bright knight in the aspect of, like, if you watch that show, everything they did was during the day.
That's right.
He brought Batman into the daylight. And yeah, did such a great job. It's amazing if you think about that show and the impact it's had on like multiple generations at this point, and it only lasted like 2.5 seasons.
That's right.
It's crazy. So yeah, definitely a major loss. And I mean, like you said, even beyond that, there's voiceover work and things like that that he's done. It's all great. You all know it. Like, my favorite episode of Batman the Animated Series is The Gray Ghost.
Yes. Yes.
That is so good. And I don't even know if when I originally watched it as a kid or whatever, if I knew that was Adam West or something, but there was always something familiar with that character. It was so good. And the way they wrote it, the parallel with his like career was pretty cool.
Exactly right. So definitely a huge loss there. And, I said it on, I forget where I said it, but something about like, oh, well, I wrote it in the article. I did a piece for Comic Books about Adam, and just kind of my reaction to it, and some of the reaction that I had asked for from a forum I go to, CBCS forum. A lot of people contribute. So a lot of people were sharing their stories about him, and convention experiences. Meeting him like just one time, like 20 years ago, and that's still like their favorite experience. Like this one guy was saying that like Adam sang to his wife, brought his wife there and sang to her. There's another person who was talking about how he went up to him and he was like, and without missing a beat, he responded. He said, "Oh, hey, it's Mayor Adam West." And then Adam goes, "Oh, it's one of my constituents," like right away. And, thing that's like a thematic and just so true from everybody's stories is just how fun he was and how appreciative he was to, be with his fans and have people appreciate him and his work. And, he, as much love as his fans gave him, he gave it back. So that was something really, special and unique. And, I don't think, hate to make the comparison, but I don't really see Ben Affleck doing that as the Batman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan, refused to be Batman after that. This is a guy who basically, he was typecast, so essentially he lived with that role and that character through his whole life. That was something that was Adam West, for the longest time. So
yeah, it definitely, like, as much as we see it as a good thing, it was realistically a bad thing for his career.
Yeah,
overall, like, if you want to be an actor, that wasn't what needed to happen for you. I mean, luckily, whenever he was able to start doing like the con circuits and things like that and generate revenue like that, but that was that's kind of the bad part of it. Even though we got such a great performance, a performance we all love as Batman,
Yeah, you're absolutely right. From what I hear, it took him the longest time to kind of come to terms with, him being that. Once the show ended, it was like you said, like 2.5 for it was into the third season, but it was a shorter third season, I believe. But he was typecast as that, and like nobody wanted to work with him after that. Everybody said, we're whatever they said, but it took him a while to find new work. He was in a couple other cool things as well. There was one as a detective, and there was some. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but eventually he found other work. Is my point.
Oh yeah.
And then once that started happening, and he realized how much people really loved his portrayal of Batman, he finally was like, okay, well, this is something that I guess I can live with, and accept as part of my history, and kind of celebrate it instead of trying to run away from it, like a lot of people do.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it's man, I don't even know how to say it. It's like, it's just a big loss,
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. All right. So yeah, definitely. If you guys get a chance, I really would like to hear your thoughts on the piece that I wrote. So if you go over to Comic Book, and it's one of the latest articles, feel free to throw in some comments there, feedback, if you met him, your experience, that would be a great, place to put that, or, in the comments below this as well. Once it, kind of goes up afterwards. So the other person that we lost was actually, his name was Jim Galton, and he was a president, CEO of Marvel back in the 70s. And he's a guy who, at the time, Marvel was really struggling. You know, they were worth, I think the quote was like $10 million, so not a whole lot of money. You know, there's been a few points in Marvel's history where they basically, you know, almost gone under, and it took something to sort of save them. So this guy, he stepped in, he rescued the company. They called him, the savior of Marvel Comics at the time. He got the licensing rights for the Star Wars, the original, the Volume 1 for Star Wars, right? That they did through Marvel. He did like some things with, what do you call it? The animated side of things. There was an animated series. And basically he turned it from a $10 million company into, when he left, in, I think it was 91, big time for Marvel, obviously. It was worth like $70 million. And then, of course, he leaves. Marvel kind of goes through a bunch of other stuff, up to their, I think it was like 5 years later, it was 96.
When the bubble burst?
When the bubble burst, when they had to file Chapter 11, when they sold off the rights to the characters to different studios, they lost, it was with Skybox, I think, they lost that whole thing. And then that's when, what is his name? The guy in the news, the recluse, Mr.
Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar, the beast incarnate. No. Oh my God, I can't think of his name. He lives down here. He's like almost neighbors with Trump. I can't remember his name. Shoot. Anyways,
somebody help us in the comments.
That guy gave a sort of a hostile takeover of Marvel, and that was arguably, one of the things later that saved
Marvel. He was the one that came in and sold the rights to Spider-Man.
Yeah, he was, part of a company. He came in, they bought it when it had filed for bankruptcy.
Oh my God!
It's right on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, as soon as somebody says it or types it, I'm gonna go like, oh my God, that's it.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. But we're getting ahead. So this guy, was one of the people who saved Marvel Comics. He's the one guy who sent Stan Lee to California. It was the animation studio at the time. So huge loss for that, a big part of Marvel's history.
Yeah.
And that happened today as well. I think he was in his 90s. So Adam was 88. This guy was like 92. So, roughly, the same age there. But definitely.
Good long lives.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Hopefully we'll all be lucky to make it that long.
Yeah.
And get help.
That's right.
And get help.
Yeah, I would love to live long, but if I'm like, bedridden and I can't move and I can't read my comics and all that stuff, then just take me out, pull the plug,
Yeah, that's right.
So
wheel me outside, just let it.
That's right. It's all about the quality of life there. All right, so that's what we wanted to say for those two, huge parts of our world here. So, big losses there. So next thing we're going to talk about, there was some news that broke that maybe Angelina Jolie would be joining the cast of X-Men Dark Phoenix. Yeah. So my first thought was, maybe they're going cosmic, so Lilandra.
Yeah.
Right?
That would be
I think
good.
she would be a pretty good fit for that role. What do you think?
I think so too. That would be, that could work very well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I see it in her face. She's a beautiful lady still, but she's getting up there in age. Let's be perfectly frank there.
Right.
But she's got to be somebody that would kind of match where Professor X is, right? Because they obviously get together, so it can't be like this cougar situation or this guy who's like after a younger lady. I mean, it could, but it would just be a little weird. But I think it's a good fit. So that's what we wanted to say on that. Dark Avenger C86, what's going on, man? Nice to have you here. Ramiro's here, yes. Okay, good. The sniper's here. And then we also have Jackio as well. So definitely good to see you guys as well. And I think I missed a couple people because we were talking for a little while. QB Comic Addict is here as well.
Jackio.
Yep. Jackio, yep. He's a staple for our show and our chat. I might have to upgrade him like I did with Adam over to a chat moderator. Give him a little blue wrench at some point. But Chris, Dark Avenger, actually said E3 is going on this week. for gaming fans. So that was actually something we did have on the list. Did you follow any of the news? I know that he did a really good recap of some of it. But I mean,
I think I just mainly saw his recap.
okay, okay, okay. So I mean, we have obviously the PS4 Pro is out now, right? So that's pretty powerful device. I haven't gotten it myself, especially I want to get the VR part, but I just haven't yet. I'm probably like the only one now who hasn't gotten it, but you got the 4K. It's like, I think it's a terabyte. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But the reason I'm mentioning that is because Microsoft did this big showing for the Xbox One X, right? It's what they used to call the Xbox Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
And they're boasting it as like 6 teraflops, 326 gigabytes. It's got an 8-core, 2.3 gigahertz processor, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong. So they're saying, and it's a rough quote, paraphrase quote, but the most powerful gaming console ever. I mean, PS4 Pro is pretty damn powerful itself, but it's at about 4.1 teraflops, maybe.
It's gonna have like enough computing power to get us to Mars. I mean,
yeah,
it's like
probably. It's amazing the amount of computing technology that went into some of the original space shuttles. I mean, there's actually more computing power in your phone than there was on that space shuttle way back then. Phenomenal, pretty mind-blowing.
It's just nuts though that like video game technology seems like it's just going like leaps and bounds beyond other industries that should be catching up because they have the money from disposable income entertainment that's just dumped into it. So they got the money to play with all that stuff and make it better.
Exactly right. I like the idea of it. I think it's cool. It comes out in November. I believe it's November that the Xbox One X will be released. But I kind of think of it, and again, Chris, he kind of touched on it here. I kind of think of it as, so they have like an iPhone 7, right? And then a year later, they come out with like, say, the 7S.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially the same phone. It's just updated, processing, updated,
right,
whatever they do to it. But it's not the 8, right? So I'm kind of waiting for whatever the next thing is after the One X. I feel like I might skip this and go to that. Same with the PS4 Pro. Like, I think I'll wait for, maybe I'll get the VR. Well, I don't know if I could, but I think I might wait to get the other part. But that being said, I really liked the, it was like a 9-minute long preview for Spider-Man, the new, the gameplay for it. It looked pretty cool. You got the suit with like the Kirby eyes. It was very technology. He had the voice in the mask, but it was a little bit different than the movie because it was actually what's her name? It was a lady. It was a sergeant that came out. Yukio, I think her name was, or Eureka. No, it wasn't Eureka. Different
Eureka!
than, yeah.
I found you.
So it was a live. Well, in the gameplay world, a live person that was speaking to him.
Mm-hmm.
Through his comms versus it being like a computer he's interacting with.
Yeah.
But it looked really cool. There was a fight at like Fist Tower. He's fighting these people. Then this crane tips over, and then there's a helicopter, and then he's like chasing the helicopter through the streets, and like it looked pretty cool. It looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, but it did remind me of the gameplay for Batman Arkham Knight a little bit with the world and like perching on the rafters and picking things to people.
Well, that gameplay's so good, you might as well copy it.
Exactly right. If it isn't broken, don't fix it, right?
Right. Like you've already like just fixed this, change the skin of what's going on.
That's
the same engine.
No, seriously. I mean, it did look a lot like it, but like you said, not a bad thing entirely. There was also Call of Duty World War II, right? Not sure I'll get that. But I mean, it looked pretty neat. I like the idea of a World War II game. Right? There used to be like one of the first ones was World War II or World War I game. I remember running through the streets with an M4 and a bayonet, and there were some Germans on this cobblestone street, and they were lobbing like the stick grenades at me.
Yeah, like
Pretty sure that was
Call
Call
of
of Duty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess they're kind of going back to that, but I don't know. I'm more of a Battlefront guy or Battlefield guy. But speaking of Battlefront, there was Battlefront 2. Some more about that as well. So
I like Call of Duty because I like the zombies.
The zombies, and they're really good with the online play, right? Not so much with the story. And Chris said it in his thing. It's like people aren't buying it for the story mode. You're buying it to go online, the multiplayer. You're buying it to shoot zombies.
Right. Well, I mean,
focus on that part.
Realistically, I view like the story mode as practice mode.
Mm-hmm.
Or to play with new things that are in that version. But I don't ever really concentrate on like story mode in those type games because the other things are more fun.
That's right. That's exactly right. NLC's here. Welcome. And then we got GPEP. GPEP. Gene Paul Ace Peter. Nice for you to join us too. Yeah. But for a more in-depth overview of what was there, check out Dark Avenger C86's video. I think it was what Chris, type it in the comments. Was it on your channel or did you put it on Comic Frontline? I'd be curious. Just to direct people in the right direction to watch that, because he did a really good. He touched on a bunch of the other games and stuff, and he explained it pretty well. So it was on Comic Frontline. Okay, cool. So check that out, guys. After this, and we can you can hear more thoughts on that. So let's move on to the next thing, which was that there's a little bit of news finally. I mean, it's coming out. I don't want to say soon, but Ant-Man and the Wasp. Right? There hasn't really been much about that. So they finally have this lady, her name's Hannah John Kamen, and she is in this mystery role for the movie. So are you looking forward to Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Yep. Yeah. I really liked Ant-Man. It was funny. It was like an unexpected
yeah,
like really, because you were like, Ant-Man, this is gonna be lame. But like Paul Rudd did a really good job with the character, I thought. I mean, it was an overall just like good, fun movie, I thought. So
yeah,
I don't know enough about like standalone who would be an Ant-Man Wasp female villain.
Yeah, I don't either, honestly. The first one, it knew it was a movie about a guy that's called Ant-Man, so like it didn't take itself too seriously. You know what I mean? And that was perfect. That was exactly the way they should have done it. And it worked really well. But what I do like is that they're kind of, with the quantum realm, they're tying that into some of the other movies. Like they touched on that with Doctor Strange and stuff. So that's that. You kind of think maybe this movie wouldn't be sort of important in the scheme of things, but they're tying it in with these, the quantum realm and things like that. That it is actually going to be fairly important to the, the actual world building aspect of it. So, yeah.
I think they have a massive. Like storyboard or something somewhere, and all these movies are connected somehow.
Yeah,
I just need to be able to see that board.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, definitely, I'm excited for it. I mean, we're finally going to get to see Wasp, one of the founding members of the Avengers. We're finally going to get to see her, so that's cool.
That's right. Which iteration of her would you like to see? Because there's been a couple different with the different costumes. Which one's your favorite?
I mean, the original stands alone, but I mean, I'm okay with any of them, really. Like I said, I'm not that big. I've never really read the character a ton, so they're all kind of the same to me.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. I kind of like, to be honest with you, and I think it maybe would fit into their more, and I'm using air quotes here, realistic world, with it's kind of like a more armored version of her,
Oh yeah, and I mean, looking at the suit, it looks like it's going to be that because he made it for her or her mom, so he was going to build in like all kinds of protection for that,
Right.
So yeah, I think hers will be a little bit more heavy, maybe more defensive capabilities and a lot more offensive capabilities, because she always had the stinger, so she's going to be able to shoot something, hopefully.
The stinger?
Yeah. No. No. Isn't that what she called it? Like her little like shooting people in the face thing?
Yeah.
Around them.
So A couple comments in the chat here. Wasp #1 came back from CGC. Rag says that's awesome. That is a great cover. This the park variant for that. And then Comically Flawed said he still has to find the Death of Ant-Man Psylocke cover.
Nice.
It's a beautiful cover. That's the one where she's like crouched down with the sword and she has all the
arrows,
throwing stars in her back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really great cover. And then Jackie O said any Wasp costume without the skirt.
Good with that.
So
yeah, I don't think she'll have a skirt. So
that's a different type of movie he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
Alex the Comic Quarter is here. He just got here. That's okay. That's perfectly fine, man. I know you're on the road. You're a road warrior, so no problem there. But Jennifer's own cover. That's who did it exactly. Deadpool. The Death of Ant-Man cover was Jennifer's own. So check that out, guys. If you don't know what we're talking about or what Comically Flawed's talking about, Google that cover. You'll love it. I knew I loved it right away. I liked it enough that I wasn't able to find it in my shop, but I had reached out to Manny NYC from the New York Warriors, and he was able to pick me up a copy when it came out from Midtown. So that was awesome of him. I don't know if I ever gave him a public shout out for that, but that's how much I like the cover. You know what I mean? So, all right. So let's move on to the next thing here, and that's going to be Zendaya. There was a lot of talk recently that she is going to be. Should I do a? No, I can do a spoiler because it's not actually a spoiler. There was a lot of talk that she was actually, her character's name was Michelle. So everyone's like, well, there was a book that came out, which is the novelization of the movie. And in there, you have a character named Michelle Toombs, i.e. Adrian Toombs' daughter. However, other people came back later once the news kind of spread a lot and said there's nobody in there by that name. So it's fake news. It's misdirection. It's somebody, a lot of leaks and rumors come out, and that was one of those. So if you do hear that there is a Michelle Toombs, there is, based on that evidence, no Michelle Toombs in the movie. So there is still a Michelle, but we don't know who exactly she is. So
gotta love fake news.
That's right. Fake news.
Yeah.
Hashtag fake news. But we'll find out in a couple weeks.
Right. Yeah. That's on. Yeah. Wow.
That's right.
It's coming up fast. It's coming up fast. Man.
Yep. We're gonna have to very soon do our box office predictions for that. Right. Mm-hmm. I would say do it now, but we're at half mast today.
We're a couple men short.
That's right. 2 men down. I don't know. I haven't heard from Edwin, but hopefully he'll be along later. But I do want to share, actually, if you know kind of what's going on with Chris, I don't want to give too much detail. That's for him to do. But he had some very good news along that front. And I believe the whole of his family is back with him at home, which is awesome, amazing. Very happy for him. So, yeah.
All of us to them.
That's right. Exactly. So, and take all the time, enjoy everybody at home. The spot's still there. If you want it, it's right there.
So, yeah.
All right. So since we're talking about the news, let's talk about Deadpool Deuce Part 2. Shioli Katsuna has been cast. And again, mysterious role. But when I first hear Shioli Katsuna, I think people like Lady Deathstrike, perhaps.
Yeah.
There's a character named Armor. There's another character named Surge. So there's a few different possibilities. But what do you think? What do you think about that?
I think it would be Lady Deathstrike. I think that would be an awesome character for Deadpool to mess with.
Yeah.
I
love that character, man. She's a really cool character.
But knowing what they do is, I would think that they might actually just go with a character that's more obscure, like Surge or somebody like that most people have no clue who this character is. Mm-hmm. And that way they can kind of, usher that character in. So I could see them doing either way.
Did you know who Negasonic Teenage Warhead was before the movie? I know I didn't. So, they've set the precedent already for, pulling out these really random esoteric characters and plopping them right next to the main guy.
That's why I'm saying that might be what they do this time. Also,
Yeah. Edwin's here. I see. His SC is here. So he's probably getting set up.
he's on his way.
Yeah.
No, I'm here. I'm just gonna have
okay.
to have my camera off because I don't have the best internet connection, so I'll just have audio.
All right. Mr. Unknown says possibly Karma. That might be. Wasn't Karma at one point part of New Mutants? Is that right? No, I'm thinking of Magma.
Or was it?
But Karma would be a good possibility as well.
Wasn't Karma and X Factor at one point?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's so many characters that they could pull from any of those books in any time period that are just like characters that showed up for a few months and then people forgot to keep writing them, you know?
Yeah. Couple episodes, boom, done. Yeah.
Are we talking about New Mutants or Inhumans?
A new character for Deadpool 2.
Oh, like out of Marvel comic books continuity?
Yeah, there was a casting and then of a new female.
That's right.
Okay, I saw that
Yeah.
you guys posted that. Okay.
Shirley Katsuna, she's a Japanese.
Yeah. Okay, but you're saying she's going to be a character from something from the Marvel universe.
From
Potentially.
the X world. Has to be
Okay. Fox related. Got it.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So yeah,
I don't know. I thought that the Lady Deathstrike was would be a good choice, but because they didn't do her much justice in X2.
No.
But you're talking to a Wolverine fan, so.
No, you're right though, man. We saw her in there, but I don't know.
She was under mind control the whole time, so whatever.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Wasn't a character that, but like I was saying, I don't know if you heard. They could do that as like name recognition character, or like Jesse said with Negasonic, just pull a random character that nobody remembers.
That's right. I mean, that's kind of cool because you can, pull the name or like the essence of the character, but really kind of do what you want with it. And because it's such a like random character, I mean, you're not going to have like with Wolverine, like a diehard fan or somebody that like, if you change like one little thing about their, their look or their history, that people will get like pissed off about it. Right. But they changed, they basically just took her NTW's name, right? And like everything else about her was different. Like even her power they pulled from somebody else. But nobody got pissed off about it because there was no like she's a cool character, but there was no like diehard fan to sort of piss off about it,
Right.
Oh yeah. Whoever they have is just going to be a side character anyways.
Yeah. But I do think that Lady Deathstrike would be awesome for that. And then it could kind of tie to X-Force maybe, because wasn't she part of that at some point as well?
I know.
If she wasn't though, she would fit really well with like a dark X-Force team. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they could easily do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's exciting with what's exciting with the potential X movies that they could be coming out with because of all the characters they can play with,
That's right.
So they don't have to worry about like decimation and all that junk. They have the whole X toy box to play with.
Mm-hmm. That, and not only that, but with all the reboots they're doing, they could play with this for another 30, 40 years. Just reboot X-Men every 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
They got to get the whole timeline situation figured out. Getting really, really convoluted.
Oh man, you bring Cable into it, it's gonna mess everything up, I'm sure.
Yeah. Hey, Deadpool used to do the not time travel necessarily, but he did the same thing that Cable used to do. He would like body slide. He would always say body slide by one or whatever.
Right.
Where'd that power go? He doesn't do that now. But anyways, yeah. So yeah. Hopefully it's the Deathstrike, but maybe not. A lot of options there is the point of that. So last week, the big talk was Batman issue number 24.
Dun dun dun.
Right? Batman and Catwoman. That's sort of a long time in coming, but at the same time, still unexpected. Like I didn't expect that to ever really kind of come to fruition, and it really hasn't yet. I mean, all he did was say, "Will you?" Spoiler alert, marry me. But she hasn't said yes yet, right? They haven't gone off and made plans yet. You know, they
Right.
haven't like picked out flowers or the cake or the freaking, you know, the church. You know what I mean? So,
And we won't get back to this storyline until September or October. So
yeah,
that's a heck of a cliffhanger.
that's right. Yeah, maybe they'll. When does the last part of Dark Days come out?
Well, but they go after the like the next issue of Batman and stuff. They jump into like jokes and riddles, whatever that storyline's going to be.
Oh yeah, the War of Jokes and Riddles. That's right.
So that's coming. So we won't see the answer to this until after that's over with.
That's right. And
So what is that, like a Riddler Joker collaboration?
Or war.
yeah, I believe they're gonna battle each other.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Which they haven't really, if you think about it, I mean, they haven't really.
There haven't really been a
Before.
ton of like Gotham villains like just going crazy on each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a villain Civil War.
That,
Yeah.
that would be nuts, and Batman would be flipping out.
Yeah, he'd be like, where do I start? Oh my
You're
god!
What would he do? Would he save them? He couldn't save them from each other, could he?
I think he would have to.
He'd pick them off one by one and send them to Arkham, just like he did in Nightfall. He kind of like everybody got released, so he kind of like went after each one by one and sent them back. You know.
Man,
Yeah.
if at the end of that there's a new like strong guy villain that beats up Batman, I'm gonna be pissed.
Call him Bane Harder. Bane 2, Bane Harder.
Blame. My name's Blame.
Yeah. Oh, so we got a couple of the suggestions going back to the Deadpool news. So Deadpool is saying Siren, possibly, and then GPAP saying Blink 182.
Oh my gosh.
There's been a lot of talk about Blink lately.
Blink would be amazing.
That would be cool.
That would be super cool. Blink's one of my favorite. Like, I loved her where, you know, she was before Age of Apocalypse, but whatever. Age of Apocalypse where like Blink like shined, and then she was in Exiles a bit. So
Yeah, Blink was from what was that storyline? They had like the little strip of shininess on it, right? It was, I can't remember the name of the title.
Phalanx something,
Huh?
Phlox or Phalanx
Live-
something.
Yeah.
Or like PH something.
Phalanx.
Yeah,
The Phalanx Covenant.
yeah.
That's what it was. Thank you very much. All right, cool. So, yeah, Siren with Black Tom, and he's rumored to be the main villain. Interesting. So if they bring Black Tom in, maybe that first 4-part miniseries of Deadpool's will kick off a little more,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I think that was the one where he was the villain in that. Black Tom Cassidy.
That was a bad guy.
Yeah. But speaking of bad guys or bad women, do you think that Catwoman will say yes to Bruce? Or do you think she'll say yes, get the diamond ring, and then run off with it?
I don't understand what the point would be. I mean, she's a thief at heart, you know, and like even Bruce Wayne providing her with everything that she would ever need to never have to steal again. I mean, to me, it would be like just the thrill of it, the adventure of being a thief. I don't know. I mean, I apologize. I didn't read it. Guys, I'm so far behind. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
But I'm
Honestly,
just, you know.
Yeah, it wasn't that. I mean,
Yeah.
It was an okay episode, but it was a lot of
Issue.
exposition. It was a lot of, you know, kind of reminiscing, you know, in the past.
Right.
Not much action.
It was,
you know?
yeah, it was
The
dialogue.
whole point of it was to get to that one question that he asked her. That was it. He
I'm
had
assuming there
Batman
were
up
some
on the
Hush
on
references.
well, he had Batman up on this tower, and then Gotham Girl just kind of floating around saying, like, "Are you happy?" And Batman's like, "I'm not happy, but I might be in a minute when I ask her this."
It was all
That's
right.
it. So yeah,
It was, I don't know. Who knows what'll happen? I think she'll actually probably say yes. It'll move forward because I don't think DC's afraid to have their superheroes be married. Like, people really like the Superman and Lois, so maybe they're going to go that way with Batman for a minute. Of course,
So they'll have Bruce, Selena, and Damian as like
right. But I mean,
super family.
At some point they'll break it apart because she'll have to die or something. You know.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's not going to last.
Yeah,
it can't last.
But it could go a year or two.
Yeah. I think they'd make a good team. I mean, they both work very well with each other. I mean, I think they both know each other very well. Probably the chemistry is there. To me, it's like a win-win situation, in my opinion. But I just think that Catwoman's character will get in the way and always get into the way of maybe the bigger picture that Batman might have for the whole thing.
Yeah, I think so. It's definitely not going to last, you know. No. But, you know, like it or not, I do like the idea of them trying new things with the characters. You know, it's so much history there. I mean, if they did the same thing over and over again and there was no it's a sort of a trigger phrase, but character development, right? You know, you're not kind of pushing these people into new areas and exploring new parts of, you know, their mind or, you know, how they operate, then it would kind of get stagnant after a while. I mean, you know, like Peter Parker with the Parker Industries or with Hydra Cap. I mean, you could say the same thing about him or Batman. You know, so I like the idea that, again, like it or hate it, but them kind of pushing these characters into these new areas to kind of see what happens. So something new, you know.
But think about this. Just think about how happy Alfred's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
He's going to have to be the one to put the bowl of milk down on the floor every damn day.
Right? Oh, how many bowls of milk will that be?
Right.
How many cats does she have?
That's right.
Depends on who's writing her. She's a definition of crazy cat lady.
That's right. She has like a bag full of cats and she just like throws them at people.
Right.
Batman. Okay. Batman and Catwoman #1, followed by Wayne's #1, followed by Alfred doesn't fit in &1. So
Alfred goes on first vacation ever #1.
Right.
That's right. That's funny. And then Lord Tapman. I don't think I gave him a shout out, but thanks for being here, Lord Tapman. I'd like to see the Joker kill Catwoman in a fit of jealous rage.
Oh, they could totally do that. You're not going to take him away from me.
Yeah. But which of the Jokers would it be? Because there's 3.
Oh, yeah. They still haven't really addressed that.
No. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but hopefully we'll find out before this whole 2-year thing is up, you know.
Something.
Maybe no.
We're not gonna find. I don't know.
Dr. Manhattan is the Joker. Oh my god, no. All right, so let's move on to the Black Panther teaser trailer. Holy crap, guys, that was cool. What did you think of it?
Yeah, it was really awesome. I mean, we got the same thing with Luke Cage. Like once we saw that Luke Cage trailer drop, everybody was freaking out, especially with the Wu-Tang soundtrack. I don't know. I mean, I think it's gonna be good. I mean, I don't see Marvel, Disney doing this for a character that's not really known. If they couldn't pull it off, and not only that, but if I'm not mistaken, there's got to be some kind of infinity gem in what is it? What Wakanda?
Yeah, Wakanda.
Yeah.
Saying that he might have the soul gem.
Okay. What's the one on Vision? I thought that was on Vision.
Isn't that the Mind Gem?
Was it the Mind Gem? Okay.
I mean, it makes sense with the placement, but I don't know.
Yeah, soul, mind. My bad.
But if he has the soul gem, then that could be the way he communicates with the dead Black Panthers. That's one of his powers.
Shuri looks freaking amazing. She's got to be, for me, a standout, one of my favorites, just from that trailer, right? Lupita Nyong'o looks amazing.
Yeah, no, I mean, it looks crazy. Like, it's going to be, visually, I think it's going to be an amazing movie, regardless of anything else. Like, I don't know exactly what they're going to do with the story. but of course it's going to have to tie into the bigger picture. And I don't see them like doing this whole movie without some of the Avengers or Cap's team showing up, you know?
Oh yeah, some kind of collaboration. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, there was it might have been on Instagram. They had Chadwick Boseman there with Mark Ruffalo. So somebody's saying that potentially the Hulk might show up at some point in the movie. Just based on that one picture. I mean, you know how that goes, but it's an interesting thought nevertheless.
Yeah, you might as well. They're not going to give him another movie.
Well, I mean, they could very easily use Black Panther as if they don't have Thor and Hulk come back to Earth at the end of Ragnarok, they could very easily have them come back at the end of like Black Panther or something like that.
Yeah. Did anybody get like a Batman feel with that trailer a little bit? Like just the way Black Panther was and just jumping from car to car and
yeah, the part where it was dark and they had the flashlights out and he was up in the tree. Hell yeah, that reminded big old Batman feel to me. Good thing.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know? Yeah. And then that scene where he jumped down on the top of the SUV, like right on the hood.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. We talked about that a long time ago on an earlier episode. They were filming that scene, right? And we kind of compared where he was riding on top of the car to the part with Batman, actually. It's funny you mentioned that in Suicide Squad. Joker's car, remember that? Like 6 months ago. But, yeah.
I mean, I think it's interesting, his whole costume and everything. I mean, doesn't he manufacture the material that his costume is made out of? Yeah, vibranium, yup.
Yeah. So I want to hear in the chat, what is a stronger metal, vibranium or adamantium?
Oh, man.
I want to see what they say.
That's like, what's better, Marvel or DC?
Exactly. Well, I want to see how that goes with this cat here. That should be fun.
Haven't they fused it together? Haven't they like forged something out of both?
I think they did. I think the Weapon X program did something with that. Yeah, it was the guy who kind of started it all.
Yeah, back in the day.
It might have even been Nathaniel Essex. It might have been him who was the first one experimenting with like a, combined version of it.
Right.
But
comically flawed throughout the trump card of Play-Doh.
Yeah, okay. Cheese dip.
On the second day.
Okay. GPAP. Gene Paulus, Peter. Well, adamantium is almost unbreakable, basically. Vibranium absorbs an impact and gets even stronger. Interesting. So it's kind of like that, what is it? Unbreakable object. And no. Unstoppable force meets a unmovable object. That's what those two are. Okay, so very cool. I can't wait to see more about the trailer later on. The full trailer, I mean. Right. So we got a couple other, bits of news here as well. Luke Cage season 2 starting. That's going to be coming out in 2019 for Netflix. So that's going to be,
Really? You're talking 2 years out?
Yeah. Well, they're busy. Wow. It was accidentally released, but The Punisher is coming out later in this year. And then you got the Defenders, but they're kind of sort of rushed through Iron Fist, I think, to kind of get Defenders out. So we're going to kind of do that a little bit and then get to the other ones. Like, we still don't have release dates for Jessica Jones, Daredevil, the new Iron Fist. They did say that there is going to be a season 2, but I mean, you're probably looking at, just like Luke Cage, 2019 or even 2020 before we see some of those.
Yeah, and I think anybody who's a fan of Luke Cage probably doesn't have to worry too much, because just like, everybody else, they're going to have everybody in everybody else's series, at least one episode,
Oh, yeah.
That's right. And then the other thing, it's a little bit down, but it's a Netflix thing as well. Voltron Legendary Defender. It's coming out in August.
Is that season 3?
Season 3, yep.
Yeah.
I like that show. I dig it.
Yeah, it's definitely a good show.
Yeah. And a little bit of anime news. Do you guys watch or read any manga?
No, my wife's a big anime fan, but
Okay. So it'll be for Netflix, but Death Note is coming out in August
Oh
Death
yeah,
Note.
by Adam Wingard. Death Note.
Okay.
Are you familiar with that?
they're
Nope.
doing live action, right?
Right. There's these Shinigamis, gods of death. There's this one. He's bored, so he drops his book down. And main character picks it up, and basically he has the power to. He writes in the book a name, and they'll die of a heart attack, or he can write the details of the death, and that's how they'll die. So he has the power to kind of go after people. And what he does, he thinks he's doing the right thing, is he goes after criminals, killers, and really bad people. So it's very very well done. I'm curious, and I kind of talked about it once before. Curious how that will kind of play out on a movie. I'm not a big fan of the setting, which is Seattle, and not necessarily the cast, but I'll still give it a shot. So there's that one. And then Tokyo Ghoul, they're doing a live action for that. I believe it's just going to be in Japan. That's coming out at the end of July.
Mm.
That's another really good show if you've ever seen it. Tokyo Ghoul.
I have not, but I've heard good things about it.
Yeah. You have Ken Kaneki, main character, dies, gets a transplant from a ghoul, and becomes like a half-breed ghoul himself, and just is struggling with maintaining some humanity. And they basically, well, I don't want to give too much away on it. Go watch the show. It's cool. Movie should be interesting. It looks really cool. There's a trailer out for it, so there's that.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, I forget, but you said it's a live show, right?
Yep. It's live.
We just recently watched the.
Now is animated, but what's coming out in July, the movie will be live action.
Okay, because we saw the Ghost in the Shell live one by what's her name?
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson, yeah, and that was actually really good, and that actually surprised us. I think that it probably didn't do so well. I don't know if too many people are familiar with the Ghost in the Shell, so that might have been the reason why it didn't do such a box office big hit. But my wife remembers it a lot more than I do. But almost from beginning to end, with a few exceptions, that was that followed the anime pretty close, almost parallel.
Wow, like the original movie?
Yeah, the original anime cartoon. Yeah.
I still got it on VHS.
But do you have a VHS player to play it?
No. Oh, yes, I do. I have a combo.
A combo. That's awesome. But if they, I don't know if they can do stuff like how I don't know what it is, man. I feel like that whole anime thing is trying to reach out to America a little bit, but I just don't think that too many Americans are too much into anime. I mean, we're just now over the past 5 years really starting to get ourselves attached to DC animation, and there's been this discussion on Facebook pages why Marvel hasn't put out very many good animes like DC, blah blah blah. But anyways, I don't know. I just think that if they can just somehow, some way, people get out there and give it a chance, I think that they'd probably be really surprised, or at least go watch the cartoon. Yeah. I mean, if you see a live action coming out and beforehand it's based on an anime, go get the anime. You can live stream it somewhere. Watch it first before you go watch the film.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that they're doing it. I think there was talk, kind of ties to something where they've been trying to do it for a while, basically. Kind of translate some of these over to the Western world. Cowboy Bebop was supposed to be a live action movie a while ago with Neo. I forget his name. Keanu Reeves was supposed to be the main character. Yeah. But they're trying it again. That's another one that is coming out, which is a really cool concept. It's a great anime. It's a science fiction. It's populated in the solar system, and they have basically there's bounty hunters that they call cowboys. There's a spaceship that they named the Bebop, hence the name of the show, Cowboy Bebop. That would translate really well to a live action sort of sci-fi movie, but that is something that's actually now again in the work. So I am happy that they are at least trying it. And I did see the movie as well, Edwin, and I liked it. The anime really touched on some really deep philosophical concepts, about what does it mean to be human and things like that, and where's that line between man and machine, And the movie sort of touched on that, and one of the complaints with it, among a couple others, was that it didn't get as deep as the source material did. But that being said, it was a beautiful movie,
Well, that's like if, they've been trying to make a live-action Akira forever.
Yeah.
There's no way that they can make a live-action Akira feel the same way as the animated Akira.
Well, and I think the only reason why they did it with Ghost in the Shell because Scarlett Johansson is pretty much a strongly established female actress in Hollywood. So you would have to have the same approach with Akira. I mean, Akira, like, fan favorite, kind of a cult following a little bit. You would definitely have to have a strong on-screen presence or popular face or whoever to play that kind of role, in my opinion.
Exactly, and it would have to be a female that has the physicality to be really, active and physical. Yeah, which she does,
Oh yeah, she was great in Lucy.
Oh yeah, that was a sick film.
That was awesome.
I didn't like how it ended. I felt like it was a little.
Yeah.
It was like a female Limitless kind of.
Or no, it was like it was like the end of the Lawnmower Man back in the day. I just uploaded myself. I'm everywhere now.
That's right.
Wow, you went back.
Word?
Lawnmower Man.
Do they even make lawnmowers anymore? No.
Yeah, they do.
They're giving us Tetsuo and Ninja Scroll as well. That would be good choices.
Yeah, Ninja Scroll. So good. That's one of my favorite all-time animes.
That's right.
Probably also one of the first ones I ever saw. That was actual like anime and not a series, not like Robotech, or something.
Yeah. Those will be pretty great. But yeah, definitely kind of getting back to what we're talking about. Voltron, I'm looking forward to that.
Yep.
I think they've done a really great reimagining of that story and the character. So.
Yeah, it's definitely helped out my auctions a little bit because I was able to sell that Voltron #1.
That's right. Yeah. We were talking about that. Don't say that on here, man. We were talking about that earlier. It was a lot of fun. I've been on some stuff. I didn't win anything, but you know what? It was still cool to kind of be in there with everybody. And it was just 3 hours, but it didn't feel like 3 hours.
Yeah, it went fast.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I want to thank anybody who's listening or watching the chat. Thank you so much for participating. That was just a lot of fun. I get a lot of compliments, a lot of positive feedback, even afterwards. And people are asking me like, "When's the next one? When's the next one?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm doing them at once a month now." But I was actually entertaining the idea of maybe going 2 hours twice a month, but I don't know yet. We'll see.
Depends on how many books you have queued up to sell. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to run out too fast.
Dude, I am not going to run. Nope.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I mean, whatever works for you and your schedule. Ultimately, your channel, your show. So kind of do whatever you want with it. But we would like to see twice a month. I mean, I'd be cool with that. So just putting that out there.
Yeah. Just, if as long as you can deal with Ramiro Gomez. I think that if you could tolerate him a little bit, I think that it would be it'd be fun.
Yeah.
One of these days he's gonna miss it. We're all gonna have a chance to buy something.
I'll give him I'll announce a fake date and just email the real date to everybody else.
So where is everybody? So Silos wants us to talk about Star Trek.
I think he said Star Wars.
I know. I was just. Did you guys see The Mummy?
No.
No. How about you?
No.
Not many Americans did.
Yeah.
Yeah. It got downgraded quite. I saw it though.
Yeah.
I watched it. Did my my due diligence here, so I can talk about it on the show. What the hell?
I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay. It was lifeless. No pun intended there. No, seriously,
Nice.
my perception, obviously, there was like, the older stuff, but what I really kind of, I guess when I grew up and stuff, it was The Mummy. It was the Brendan Fraser movies, the 1923 setting. It was fun and adventurous, and it was sort of light, in terms of the story, even though it was about the mummies and death and stuff. But it was fun. It was like kind of like a Indiana Jones or that sort of a adventure. But this wasn't quite like that for me, and I don't know. It was an interesting twist. I'll tell you that at the end.
Did you just see it just because you're a huge Tom Cruise fan, or you did it because of the
Dark Universe,
the nostalgia, the feeling from the Mummy from the?
It was. I like the
both?
Universal monsters. I like that.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
gallery
Okay.
of monsters, and I really like the idea of them creating a unified world, the Dark Universe, obviously, for these. So I was really intrigued by that and wanted to kind of get in on the ground floor for that. And yeah, I definitely, from Dracula to Frankenstein's monster, all of them. I don't want to go through the list and just itemize them all. You guys know what they are.
I just kept hearing that the script was bad. Like people couldn't believe that Tom Cruise approved that kind of script, and just wasn't that good. And I mean, I might see it, like stream it or something like that one day if I'm bored and got nothing else to do. But would you agree with that?
Watch it. Get it on Redbox, but wait till they send you a free code.
Okay.
So what you're saying is don't pay to see that.
Don't pay for it.
Yeah. I liked Sophia Boutella. I thought she was, she looked really great as the Mummy. I forget her name. Mo something or other. Am Scott was her name. No. But the character that really confused me was Russell Crowe's character. And he's supposed to be the one that's kind of, and we've said it before, the sort of glue that ties everything together. And yes, I guess I could say it. How many people are going to see it?
Nobody.
All right. So he's Jekyll and he's Hyde. So he's got kind of like these two conflicting sort of agendas going on. And that's understandable because of the character, but it makes it a little bit confusing. You're like, okay, what's he trying to do now? You know what I mean? So I got that from it. It was very much, a lot of it was set in the lab.
Oh, wow.
Prodigium. And that kind of reminded me actually of the Fantastic Four, the Josh Trank movie. It was like, you think of like, Fantastic Four and it's like this big cosmic space adventure. It can be, right? But no, they were like in this lab half the time. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, no, I did not actually. There's a big twist, and I didn't tell you the twist. Mr. Deadpoolica. He said I spoiled the movie, but I didn't. I'm giving you enough, but not enough to, I'll leave some for you. So got me off my train of thought there. So with this movie, like I said, with the Brendan Fraser one, they were like all over Egypt, and it was like this big, romp through the desert and all this. The scale of it was much larger, and this felt not as massive as a scale, I guess. If that makes sense.
Right.
A lot of it took place in London. So there's that. Some of the mummies were pretty cool looking.
One of the questions I got in my mind, Jesse, is was there a lot of CGI or practical effects or both?
Both.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah, there was a really good mix of it. Like with her, it was all practical. Like she was actually wrapped up and painted and stuff,
Okay. They didn't do like Enchantress or from Suicide Squad stuff.
Well, remember that scene with the Enchantress, and they were in the tomb, and she was like in the dark, and she was like doing like this like weird like twisting, like her bones are broken type of motion. Yeah, so there was like a couple mummies who actually kind of had a similar motion to that, which was pretty cool. Yeah.
Cool.
And then there was another part where, should I say it? Nope, I'm not gonna say it.
Don't spoil it for Deadpoolica.
That's right. If you came here specifically to hear a whole hour of talk and incredible detail about the movie, well, I'm sorry, Deadpoolica ruined it for you. So We'll talk about the next thing. And that's going to be Teen Titans is starting filming this fall. So that should be pretty cool. Like the Teen Titans. I like the idea of a live action for that.
What network has that? I don't know.
Teen Titans.
Teen Titans have that. That's their network.
Yes, the
So
TTN.
Sweet. So we got to find a new channel.
It's the
we'll
TTN.
watch that.
So that's going to be a series, not a movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. But then, no, never mind. I'm thinking of Nightwing. Nightwing's going to be a film.
I want to say it's on the CW, actually. I mean, that would make sense.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's my fear is they're not going to have any Bat characters. And there's always a Bat character on that team.
You'd have Robin, wouldn't you?
Which Robin?
Yeah.
I think Damien would be a nice twist. He'd stir things up.
Yeah. He'd be like the dark and brooding character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they if they did CW, they could pull like some of the other characters from some of the other shows, right?
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Like the Kid Flash. They have Wally could be part of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they could tie it in if they really go that route. It would be easy for them. And Justin, it's filming in Atlanta.
Oh, sweet.
So
maybe I can go be an extra.
An extra.
Yeah.
sit there all day for $50.
Sweet.
Teen
free
Titans
food.
and Justin. Yeah, that'll be the new title for the show.
I'm in the
He'd
back.
be like way in the back, like way in the back of the frame.
Yeah.
See, if you pause it here, you can see the top of my head.
He'll just be there randomly in the background of every scene.
He'd be photobombing everything.
Yeah.
There you go.
That'd be too funny. So who else would be there? I mean, Starfire, maybe?
What's her name?
Raven?
Raven, yeah.
Beast Boy. I mean, there's so many characters they could pull from. Cyborg has always been on that team.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of which, since you're saying that, everybody needs to get first appearances of all these characters if you haven't already.
Yeah. True.
We will send you everyone a list of books to get.
That's right.
Or not.
I think Beast Boy is pretty manageable, right? His first appearance.
Should be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You mean in terms of
We need a Doom Patrol book?
cost on it?
I have to check. Let me check. I'll shut up while y'all talk.
All right. So yeah, I mean it's a neat show, and I definitely like how CW has been doing their shows and tying them sometimes together.
Mm-hmm.
But I did like this season of Arrow, and I definitely like the Flash and stuff. So I haven't watched too much, to be honest with you, of
Legends.
time travel one. Yeah, Legends. So
This season of Legends was different. And it was I don't know, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I'll say that. But I mean, Titans, man, if they really if they have the Titans toy box to play with, that could be a really good show because they're over the course of the years of that book, there have been, so many different iterations of that team.
that's right.
You could even pull like Young Justice characters, or
That'd be cool.
that was the book too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Suicide Squad, there's just been a rotating cast of characters that have come through, and yeah.
I mean, they would be dumb not to pull some of the fan favorites from the Young Justice series. Like maybe you need an Archer, we can get an Artemis on there, something like that. Get those characters that you have people that will be watching it that are familiar with those characters, especially since season 3 of Young Justice is going to be coming out soon.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if they'll do Cyborg though. I mean, I think that they're saving him for
No, he's off the table, I'm sure.
extended, the DCEU.
Yeah.
So yeah, but Beast Boy would be cool. Absolutely, Starfire, Raven. Yeah.
Beast Boy is manageable, depending on what kind of grade you want.
Yeah.
A decent mid grade, you're going to spend about $150. High grade, you're probably looking at about $400 or $500. So it just depends on how deep your pockets are.
Yeah.
Awesome. Comically Flawed's going to get one of those tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm going to wait for one to show up in one of your auctions.
Shoot.
Yeah,
I'll let you know when I get one.
We'll have to have an extreme auction one day of just books that are expensive.
That would be fun. That'd be fun to see how they could be like, hey, nothing here is under $100.
Right?
That's right. Extremely unaffordable auction.
Right.
Part 1.
That'd move pretty fast, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, with the Mummy, like kind of going back to that for a second, it didn't do well at all in the United States. It started off at like $40-something thousand is the estimate for the domestic, right?
40
And then
million?
It was 37, I think. Yeah, 37.
Yeah. And then it went down to 35, and then it ended at like 33, and it finally came in at like 32 and some change million. But where it really did well, actually, was internationally. Yep, exactly. He said internationally it did well, and I believe I read that it was Tom Cruise's biggest international opening ever.
Right.
Right.
So
So
you got more movie theaters internationally than you've had ever before. So
yeah,
I mean,
a lot of market there.
that doesn't say a lot to me, in my opinion.
Well, here's the thing, though. It also opened in China. A lot of times. Wow, that was really loud lightning.
Was that lightning?
Yeah, dude.
Wow. Jesus.
All my dogs are going to freak out now. Lost my train of thought. But yeah, it opened in China. And a lot of times movies don't. So the numbers are kind of skewed that way also.
Yeah.
Yeah, but only if it's a rated R film, right? Doesn't everything else pretty much open in China?
I don't know.
Especially now that the Chinese are trying to get their hand into Hollywood.
Right. Hey, boys.
Yeah, craziness. But I think it's going to end up doing enough to move forward.
A sequel, really? Oh, to move forward with the... Okay, yeah.
Yeah. You know, I think they tried it kind of with Dracula Untold. Remember that movie? A few years back? Mm-hmm. That one didn't do too well. So I think that was originally supposed to be the start of it. So they kind of threw that one out. But I will say for the movie, what was neat was there was actually, and I don't know if it's supposed to be just a nod to it or a really subtle tie to it, but there was a couple connections to the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies.
Oh, yeah?
In the
That's
movie,
nice.
Yeah. Little kind of like Easter egg type of things, you know? So again, I don't know if it's supposed to be like an absolute connection or just like a nod to it. You know what I mean?
Maybe some little respect there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So definitely pretty cool there. So let's talk about some books for tomorrow. What are you guys picking up? I know some people in the chat were already talking about, you know, some of the books coming out. So
I already got mine in the pull list, my box already. The best cover I've seen so far is that Venom Mary Jane variant. Sick. Yeah. Think in terms the all new Wolverine Venomized variant, the one where she's just kind of crouched down and looking up. X-23. Man, great. Awesome. I'm just really excited to get that one. And we only had 2 of them also in the shop, so of course I had to grab one for myself. But
You took half the books now.
But the other one I didn't even know about was the number 1 by DC, the
Dark Days.
Dark Days. Yeah, I had no idea about that. The girl who I work with, she already read it. She said it was really good. There's a little twist at the end, of course, in every comic book, but I won't spoil it, but that's supposed to be a good one. The only thing I like about it is you got too many artists in that one, and I was flipping through it, and I mean, you got John Romita Jr., you got Scott Snyder doing the writing, you got God, who else? But anyways, you got about probably 5 different artists, and of course the art isn't consistent all the way through, which was kind of a disappointment. But we also had about 3 different covers. Also, you got like an Aquaman cover, Batman cover, and another one which I forget. But it's still going to be a light week for me. But I'm still looking forward to. I'll probably get about 3 to 5 books tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, some interesting stuff out there.
Yeah, I get a few. One I really like is the Renew Your Vows #8. There's a 1 in 25 by Clayton Crane.
Oh wow.
That thing is money. And then Old Man Logan #25. It's a 1 in 10, I think, by Mark Grummett, I think his name is. And it's an homage to Hulk 181. What do you guys think of that cover?
Wait a minute, that's a 1 in what?
I think it's a 1 in 10.
I almost got that and put it in my box, but I left
yeah.
it. I think I need to make a phone call.
They should still be open. It's what, 8:45 where you are?
That was actually a cool looking cover. And
yeah, it's cool.
Dang it, I knew I should have grabbed it.
Yeah. What, did you have a few of them or just like one or two?
Nah, man, we only had one. But you know, I don't buy moderns or variants like that. But I should have got it just on that alone. So
yeah.
Dang it.
Yeah, talking about variants, All New Wolverine #21, I think, comes out. There's a couple incentive covers for that as well. So I'm a sucker for some X-23 stuff, so can't go wrong there. In my collection, anyways. So
Defender #1 also comes out. There's a few variants for that one also. So
yeah, Eddie and Veronica #3, finally after all this time. But there's a cover A and a cover B, both by Adam Hughes. Mm-hmm. One is Betty, one is Veronica. So if you get those, I would pick them up as the set. I think if you ever, and we don't always talk about selling the books, but I think if you were going to sell them later, that would be one that you would want to sell as a set.
Well, we had 3 covers.
Well, yeah, there's a few others. I was just talking specifically.
Oh, just the Adam Hughes ones?
Yeah. Okay. Which is the A and B, but there was like C, D, and E. There's been a lot for each of the different issues so far.
But, are you sure? Because I kind of had the same vibe with J. Scott Campbell, like when he was doing Red Sonja. But it seems like his stuff is only good when he's doing like something Marvel or DC. Because like those Red Sonja variants, those J. Scott variants, you can get pretty cheap now,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, you're right. I think that he kind of puts more, like when it's from his own store, like talking about J. Scott Campbell, like one of his own, like J. Scott Campbell store exclusives, kind of like puts more effort and detail and, love, I'll say, into the piece versus like, say, like, take, I don't know, any one of his last covers. There's so much detail and background and, multiple characters. And then you look at, your example, the Red Sonja, and it was just her in a white background, and it just great. It's, J. Scott Campbell, but it's kind of basic at the same time.
I mean, I'm not a big Adam Hughes fan, but I take it his following is getting stronger?
It seems so. Or, at least like the following for his covers anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see, I think that, well, I don't know actually, because it's not a big 2. I was going to say, I think the print run will be high on those, but I'm not so sure about that. So anyways, Deadpool, 32, I think, is a Mary Jane cover. We're doing the Mary Jane month, right? And it's Elizabeth Torque, I think her name is, who did that one. But I like that one, and I like the Lopez one for Wolverine, All New Wolverine. And I think that makes 3 different covers for All New Wolverine I need to get now. Shoot. Man.
They just keep adding up.
Yeah. We didn't even mention the regular covers.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, Secret Empire 4 comes out. Did y'all hear that like that's been expanded and they raised like the last issue or something $1?
That's Marvel being Marvel.
Yep. So did they just now think of something they needed to add to the story? Like, I mean, like, oh crap, we forgot to tie up this one loose end.
Yeah, right. Oh crap.
Yeah, they added 2 pages so they could charge $1 for it.
So close to getting dropped. Secret Empire so close to being dropped.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, they did that with Secret Wars too, right? Deleted like an issue or 2. Yeah.
like I want to say it was Original Sin and Secret Wars both got an extra issue than what it was supposed to have originally.
Yeah. Not a fan of that.
No.
For obvious reasons.
No.
Yeah. There is a San Diego Comic-Con variant by Art Germ. Seeking Near Mint Comics is saying.
Oh, wow. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Definitely like Art Germ. He's a really up-and-coming, amazing, he's one where a lot of the facial structure looks kind of the same. He does like a very slick digital sort of anime style with his characters. I like it. I think it's great, but kind of like J. Scott Campbell, if you look at the way he does the face, it's very similar.
Yeah.
I mean, he did. It just came out recently. It was Street Fighter versus Darkstalkers, the first issue of that. No, it was the second issue. Right, wasn't it?
Yeah, the second one came out last week.
No, it was Art Germ did issue 1, and then Warren Lowe did issue 2, the variant for it. But they have very similar styles, so yeah, that's what it was. But issue 2 did come out last week, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think that's all the books I'm pretty much getting. I mean, I always pick up the Gwenpool. I think that's just the cover A for that, right? I don't think there's anything
I got a
with that.
I got a little rant.
Okay.
Has anybody been getting these Spawn variants? Because I have not been impressed yet with any of them. I mean, you're talking about Spawn characters been around for 25 years. A lot of these variants suck.
Dude,
yeah.
The best one is the God Country. Was it God Country 4 or God Country 5? That one's good.
That's probably the best one out there.
That one I liked. I also liked the 7 to Eternity.
I didn't get that one either. The only one I got was the cover for Regression, and the only reason I got that was because that was the only issue they had left.
I remember you showed that. Yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, you would think that. I mean, even with the Venomized variants, for the most part, they put in a pretty solid effort with those Venomized variants. I don't know. I just didn't see a whole lot of effort with these Spawn variants.
Yeah. I think it was kind of just a way to skate on the coattails of Marvel with a very similar type of thing. Same with the Pride Month covers. I haven't seen any that I needed to run out and get.
Yeah.
But
somebody banned Big E's. He said Spawn sucks.
Yeah. You're going to timeout, sir. Spawn. I like Spawn. Spawn's cool. That movie coming out.
No, it's never coming.
It's got to come eventually. Come on, man.
That's fake news, man. That's fake news.
No, man. Todd himself, the Todd father, was talking about it, shopping around the script that he finally finished after multiple years of making it too long.
We'll see. Not trying to be a pessimist. It's just not going to happen.
It's like saying, no offense, but no, you're about to offend me.
Don't take this the wrong way.
Yeah, but you suck. Yeah.
Well, we're supposed to take that.
Comically Flawed City is putting Piggies in timeout. That's funny. Yeah, so what are you guys doing? Anything coming up? I know we got like Father's Day and stuff coming up. Anything special going on for you guys?
No, just a pretty normal week coming up for me of reading a whole bunch of books and maybe finding some more X-Men back issues or whatever back issues I'd try to get this week. And then, of course, Sunday morning comics. I'm probably still going to do it. I know it's Father's Day, but probably still going to do it since it's early.
Yeah, you should. You do it for like an hour, right? So
yeah.
Won't take up the whole day or anything. So
right.
Yeah, it's pretty early. Justin influenced me. I'm kind of doing my thing on Saturday mornings. GPA Saturday is what I've been calling it. really what I'm just trying to do is just give people an opportunity to give me some comic books they want me to look up on GPA. And since I'm subscribed, I go ahead and look them up, and I show the charts and graphs and all that stuff, and just kind of give them a good feel on what their books have been going for over the past 10 years or whatever. So that's actually been a lot of fun. I've had a lot of feedback already. A lot of people, I probably got 5 books already to look up, and I haven't even started next week's show yet. So that's pretty awesome. Also, I'm going to be announcing my pressing service here probably within the next couple of weeks. I haven't said anything about it yet because I don't want to get flooded with books without having all my social media site tweaked and all that stuff yet. Yeah, so I just use tape and glue and just kind of just throw something together and charge them a healthy fee for it. So
that's right.
But no, that's about it, man. But I like what Justin's doing. I like what Jesse's doing. You guys got me wanting to up my game a little bit, so trying to put more content out there. So yeah, it's been definitely fun for sure.
Sweet. Yeah, I like that show as well. You definitely keep that up. It's really insightful, like seeing the way books have trended and kind of looking at the graph, and then like when you see a huge spike, trying to figure out what at that point caused it. You know what I mean? Whether it was a movie or whatever it was, but that's a neat part of that whole analyzation process. If you want to get really into the technical aspect of it, which a lot of us do. So,
yep.
I gotta get some books to you, like the names to look up.
Yeah, somebody's already got an AF-15 they want me to look up. So
yeah, okay.
That's only going up about $500 to $1,000 a year. So
yeah, why don't you look up my Action 1 then?
Well, if you got one of those, man, hey, I do a video on that thing every week.
Right?
That's right.
Just tweak the title, same video, throw it up.
Yeah.
Change the name of my channel.
You just showing
change the Action 1. Yep.
Yeah. Action 1 news right here. Yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to be doing. My birthday next Tuesday, so I'll probably not do a show. I think I'll be out of the house.
Oh, snap. Is your birthday next Tuesday?
Yeah, next Tuesday, 20th.
All right, everybody, we got to get something sent out to Jesse.
No, that's not why I'm saying that. But we'll probably, not probably, we will be back after that. So that will be some. But we might do something later in the week or something kind of on the fly at some point. So surprise, look for that notification. So yeah.
Awesome.
That's going to be it, guys. We kind of, we had a lot of things to talk about, and because of that, we kind of blew through everything sort of quick, I feel like. But yeah, we went through all the topics we got. So have a great week and pick up those books tomorrow. Collect what you love. Collect what you like, and stare angrily at the ones you don't. I don't know. I'm just rambling now. All right, guys, that's episode 44. That'll do it. See you guys in 2 weeks. All right.
Bye, you guys.
Have a good one. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Appreciate it.